is Chella Diaz. Chella knew at a very young age how to manage money. At 9 years old, she would go to the farmer's market and know the vendors with the best product at the lowest price. She purchased her car at 17, her first home at 23. Chella is on a mission to empower entrepreneurs to charge their value. I warmly welcome Chella Diaz. Welcome to BrandsTalk.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Thank you, Bridget. I am so glad to be here. Oh,
Oh, yes. I'm also so glad that you are here today, Chella, being my guest. And there is so many questions I have to ask you because you knew from a very young age that you were different from other kids. So my question to you now is, what was it that made you so different and how did you cope with that? And how did that impact you later on in your life and how does that relate to your work that you are doing now? So tell us your story.
so at a very young age, I just had a very strong sense of my intuition, right? It felt it very strongly in my body, but also the money piece, it just was second nature to me, right? I didn't know that other kids didn't have that, right? And it's not something you talk about. You don't go around saying, well, I'm good with this. So very early on, I learned that it was not okay to talk about it. It was not okay to talk about money. It was not okay to talk about my intuition. And I witnessed a family member who was very open. And so she was not invited to parties. She was not invited to family gatherings. So I thought, you know what, that's not a good thing. So I'm not going to do that. So I kept my gifts, if you will, very, very hidden. But it was something that I've been passionate. And it's something that I've been doing. Any tips that I can give somebody, right? Anything that I can share. So I really, very early on, just wanted to share. I just wanted to share better ways or different ways of doing things that are going to help you keep more money in your pocket so that you can do the things that you want to do.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
actually helping others. And what I've learned is basically about women. It's very much women empowerment. Identify, first of all, and then release their so called money baggage. So that, yeah, it's a money baggage. I have it too. Yeah. So we really need to figure out how to find a way to leverage, basically turn that around and leverage a certain skill. And you teach that you help women achieve their financial goals. That also means that we need to know what our value is and charge it, right? So, how do you do that?
And that's a key point, right? And ladies, and this includes to men, we're not saying just one, but for the most part, women,
Yeah.
if it comes, if it's a gift to us, if it's second nature to us, if it's something that comes very easily to us, we tend to undervalue because it is such a gift. But if it's so easy for you to do, this is, ladies and gentlemen, please hear me here. If it's a natural gift to you, other people are willing to pay top value for that
Mm.
because the natural gift to you, and we all have them, right? We all have our unique gifts that come second nature to us, but that's why we need to value that. So the fact that it comes second nature, it's your gift. Other people don't have that.
Mm.
But that's why they're willing to pay top money because they don't have that, because it's a piece that they need in order for them to blossom,
So,
right? It's
yeah. So I think the first difficulty is to identify the gift. A lot of people have troubles in a hard time finding what is their gift. What is it that is different? What is it that made them stick out of the crowd? What are they gifted with? And usually this becomes our purpose. So how do I identify that in the first place?
oh, this is a $25,000 question, Bridget. Because
Uh,
right, no, truly, because what and I'll come back and tie it to you. What are people coming to you for? Right? There's a gift that you have that people keep coming to you and you keep helping. That's the first step. Because if they're coming to you, that means that that's an area of expertise to you, whatever that may be. Right? And we don't have to figure it out all at the beginning, but we need to start taking the steps. What is it that comes quite naturally for you, that you love doing, that you could spend 24 hours a day doing? And now that you've identified what that is, then how do you package it and sell it?
Into
But
a
then this is where, right. But this is where Bridget comes in. You have identified what this is, you're beginning to take the steps. Now Bridget is going to help you so that with your gifts, you're going to be able to stand out from the crowd. You're going to be able to brand yourself so that, because we're all individuals, right? But this is why identifying, now that you do, and maybe you go out and you get a couple of clients now, right? Don't wait too long, because I think people wait too long. Oh, I'm going to get branded after no. Start at the beginning, right? Because you want to start building a solid foundation.
yeah,
Now that may change over time, absolutely. But by working with Bridget is going to help you to stand out from the crowd. So if there's 100 people that do the same thing you do, have the same skill set, by having the proper branding is going to help you get, let's say, to the top 5%, because 100 people, four other people already went out and did that. They branded themselves. So now you're part of a 5 people group instead of 100, right? Because you have your branding, and that's going to help you stand out. So identifying is what people come to you for, right? What do you spend, and what would you now? Sometimes people are like, well, I enjoy gardening. I got to tell you, even in gardening, you have a skill set. So don't undervalue whatever skill set that is. Even knitting, and I do enjoy knitting though. But even knitting, right? I just recently saw somebody that's doing a business by teaching people to knit online, right? So don't, whatever their gift is, don't undervalue it. So now that you know this is what I like to do, and you're going to take it out into the market. And I really enjoy what Bridget is helping you do. Let's say that you're in the corporate world, whatever that is for you, right? And you know that you have a gift because you know you want to do something else. Well, the bridge is Bridget,
yeah.
right? Because you can
Absolutely. The invisible bridge, the guiding hand that gets you from here to there, right? Because that's
right.
the most difficult part when you are an employee. Then you are, you have the mindset of an employee. You are basically someone who complies with certain rules, standards, procedures in an organization. But when you are starting to break out of that, break away, and when you want to start your own business, then you also have to shift your mindset to take on the mindset of a business owner. And as you say, it's also really interesting what they start their business with. It's very often a hobby, something where there is
Yeah.
their passion. And then they, of course, have difficulties. How do I show up? So who I am, because you're taking on a whole new identity. Yeah, and that is also very critical to really own it, this new identity, who you are and how you're gonna present yourself to the world with your singular thing, and so
Yeah.
that you have a certain reputation in the market. I think everyone is a brand, but not every brand shines that brightly, and it's about you, how bright you shine. And you also said, when you start your journey, make sure that you brand yourself. You cannot start early enough, because if you're not starting, then others brand you and you might not like it. Yeah.
And that's it, right? And I think what if, especially because your market is helping those employees, and I was there. I was somewhat there. I was in the corporate world, and then I took a sales position. So as a salesperson, 100% commission, I sort of started my journey to the entrepreneurial world. I still had but the difference here, and this is key, the difference was that I was selling somebody else's product.
It's a difference than selling your own one, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of got, some experience of being a salesperson, and doing all of that. But now to shift. But now that, especially because your market is current employees that have a hobby, they enjoy, and they want to make a full-time business from it, right? While you're still employed, get the foundation done. This is your opportunity, right? This is for you to find. I say, think of it as a pie. What is that sliver of the pie that you want for yourself? What is that market that you're going to go after?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Let's paint the picture for you're currently in a job, you're making the money, but you know that that's not your passion. You don't want to do something else. Get started, take Marriage's course, get branded, start doing this hobby, and start getting paid.
Mm.
You can find a couple of hours a week to make some additional money on, most likely you're already doing that.
Yeah.
Get yourself branded, you have the money, right? And when you do that, you're going to start getting some more clients, and you're going to find what market you want to go after,
Yes.
right?
That's another critical thing is that, first of all, you need to know who you are, but on the other hand, you also need to know whom you want to serve. Who is the client, the ideal client you want to appeal to? Yeah, that needs to get together. Because you are coming and present yourself with a certain identity that you are showing out to the world. And that is a reflection then within or in customers' mind or in your ideal customer's mind, and that creates the image that you have then in the market. That needs to get together. Yeah. So are there any other tips, tidbits that you can give from your experience, or suggestions that you have for people who are starting their entrepreneurial journey? What is important, especially at the beginning, other than being on brand, starting your brand early on, and knowing your customer?
And knowing your customer, and also this ties to that. It's like we rehearsed this, Richard. This ties to that. The one thing, and I've been doing this for over 10 years. The one thing is, when you go out into the market, stay away from I help anybody, I help everybody,
Yeah.
because you're not doing anything, right? And that's why part of identifying. Now, when you begin the journey, it's like, so those two words, I don't think they should be when it comes to your market. You don't help everybody. Let's say that for, whatever the product or service is, niche it down. It's okay to change. Let's say that you wanted to work with kids, for instance, right? For whatever reason you thought you wanted to work with kids, you started doing that. Along the way, you find that, you know what, you don't want to work with kids. But you got to test the market, right? And that's part of the process. And you're not going to know that until you actually go out and do it. So while you're fully employed, carve out whatever time that is, right? Set aside some time, whether it's 3 hours a week, 5 hours, whatever that is, and really truly invest the time and test. Because there's one thing for you to think, oh, you know what, I want to work, like I said, with kids. And I do have kids. I don't have anything wrong against kids. I do a lot of workshops for kids, for teens. But as you're beginning to do that, then you find out, okay, that's not what I want to do. Now's the time to pivot, right? Because now is the time, but you need to go out and do it. There's nothing like experience,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
absolutely. And that's one other thing that ties into that. And it ties into charging what our value is. It has something to do with you, with how you position yourself in the market, getting paid for what we are worth. Is there anything that, an advice that would be helpful so that we really always have this on the radar? Yeah, when we start asking for money.
And let's face it, when you first start out, it, just getting paid is going to be huge.
Mhm.
So first, it doesn't matter how much you get paid at the beginning. Celebrate the fact that you did get paid, right? And that's when you begin. It's like, And this is, I'm going to give you the magic formula. So let's say that you started out and you were charging for what your package was $500. Great. You got the money, you know what I mean, now. But as you get experience, now you've been doing this for 6 months. As you gain experience, right? Because you're growing, you're going out, you're getting additional skill set, even just, you know, I mean, you're growing. Let's face it,
Yeah.
we all do that.
You're going down
At
the
that,
learning curve, right? So you
right.
absolutely, yeah.
So think about, and this is crucial, think about what your customers are saying. How did you impact their life? How did you transform your life? How did you make their life easier? And if you start keeping track of those, right? If you start making a list of what your customers are saying, at the end of 6 months, at the end of 9 months, you have this long list of how you're impacting their life. Now the question is, going forward, now that you have more experience, what are people willing to pay for that?
Mhm.
And I'd rather you do it earlier than later,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Uh,
We're not going to talk about burnout because you're not getting paid enough. So now, but start keeping a list. You know, when the client says, "Oh, you know what? You saved me on this, or you did this for me, or I cannot believe you made my life easier in this aspect." And this applies to no matter what skill set you have.
mhm.
Right? When you begin to do that, that's when. So now I'm going to give you the magic because we want you to walk away with, because we want you to give you the 1, 2, 3 to get your business out and going. Now it's been 6 months, maybe 9 months. You have clients. I want you to take a postie and I want you to have three prices. So I mentioned the price point you started with was 500. So put up three price points,
Mhm.
right? And it's a visual thing. If you put up three price points, leave it up there for, a week or so. One of those price points is going to just talk to you, is going to jump at you.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's just going to make sense.
Mhm.
Oh, and this is your uh $50,000 tip. So now that you've chose this, whatever that amount is, right? You can, whatever feels right. Then you're going to go out and have 10 conversations. And this has to be 10 conversations with new people. So
Mhm.
this is where you go out and you do some networking, you do some relationship building, maybe you reach out to people on LinkedIn, whatever that is. And you're going to have 10 conversations. And you're going to say, we're not looking to make a sale here. We're building relationships. And this is $100,000 tip. We're up to like $250,000 in tips already, Bridget. So we're going to say, this is what I do. This is who it helps or empowers, or this is how I transform lives. Who do you know that can benefit from my service? I love that.
Mhm.
The person that taught me this has moved on, has transitioned, but that is a very powerful way to come from. Because when you do that, if I came to you with that, Bridget, I said, this is what I do, this is who do you know? The magic thing is that you're going to say, "Oh, I know Bill, or I know Susan, or I know do whatever," right? Because we'll want to help. Or if it's for you, you're going to say, "Oh, me, me,
Yes.
me."
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, this
So
is
if you
a good
have 10 of those
strategy.
conversations,
Love
and
that.
if Bridget says me, 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 we would schedule another time to really review the program and what is, and you're going to say the new price.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? You're looking to have 10 conversations where you tell people your new price.
The price that
My
comes
rec
on me.
yes.
Exactly.
My record right now, when I had one of my clients do this in the process, I call it practice enrolling conversations.
Mhm.
While she was having this practice, because we're not looking to, while she was having this practice enrolling conversations, she enrolled two new clients, right? Because you're having a conversation,
Yeah.
right? You're totally detached. You're testing. You what something happens because at the first three, your body's going to start shaking with a new higher price, right? It is. Your body was like, I don't believe you. By the time you get to the fifth, sixth conversation, your body's like, yes,
Yeah.
we got this,
You embody
right?
that as well then. Yeah. You
Yeah,
you
you're
live
in
it.
body.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You're embodying that, and that's why 10 conversations is the magic,
It's
right? And, there's no right or wrong. Yeah, maybe it's, the price tag is not right, or simply you need to fish in a different pond
mm,
because the current people, right? So we need to upgrade. I
yeah.
cannot tell you how many times I've upgraded the people I hang out with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's time to maybe network in a different place. It's time to build different relationships. What groups could you join? Right? It's time to, again, change where you're fishing because you want to attract the people that are ready or the people that know your clients. Because
Mm,
sometimes it's building relationships and then asking, referrals is what may come of it on
mm,
that
yeah. Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's a journey to go because a lot of people they give a lot of content for free. And I remember we had a conversation recently, I think it was yesterday. It was also about messaging. It was about instead of saying, I help you, it's I empower you. You're substituting with a different wording that also makes you stronger and come across stronger, maybe also more valuable. And you can own your value much better instead of I help you, isn't it? What's your take on
I
that?
know power, right? The power of words. So yes, we were and it was, but that's just it, Bridget. I've been doing this for 10 years and my message keeps changing, right? It keeps being refined because I want to be able to get niched, and it's a process. I say we cannot start in elementary school and get our PhD in 1 year. It's just not possible, right? It's a process. So, right? It's a process, it's a learning. Now, yes, you might be able to speed up, to definitely speed up that process when you work with coaches, when you work with somebody like Bridget, right? So that helps you, right? You don't have to do as much homework. It helps you to get there faster, but it's still the process, right? Because also you have to take into consideration as you grow and blossom, you're going to want to work with different people. But that's the fun of it, right? Because as you're going and as you're meeting all these folks, you're still learning and blossoming, which means the more you learn, just think about this. The more you learn, the more skill set, the more clients you help, the more people you think about adding those dollar signs to it, right? Because it is.
Yeah.
It's a part of the process where you keep continue to do that. And for me, it's when you're able to charge a value, and majority of people have a give back, right? They all have a cause they want to donate to, they want to help, whether you want to donate money, you want to donate time, whatever it is. But if your price tag is higher, that means that you're going to have one more money to give and donate, or if you choose, you're going to have more time because you're not having to have 100 clients. You maybe just need 25, 30. It's going to give you the time freedom so you're able to go out and volunteer. I love volunteering.
Yeah. Yeah, and niching also has another advantage because whom do you want to work with as a client? With someone who is a all-rounder who knows everything, you know? And when you are an all-rounder, usually you can't charge that much. You need to niche down because when you niche down, you have a specific expertise in exactly that niche market. And that also gives you the possibility to charge higher prices because if I have the choice and I can work with someone who is an expert in that niche or with someone who is an all-rounder who says he knows everything, it's like you go to a restaurant, what do you serve? We serve everything. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not going there. I'm looking for something specific and that has to be of highest quality. Yeah, and then I'm willing to pay that price because they earn it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And and listen, we all have different talents and we can all be good at different things. Absolutely. Totally. We are, right? If you're a curious person, you're going to have a lot of different talents. That doesn't mean that you won't necessarily want to advertise yourself. When you niche, and I know this is a fear for folks, well, if I niche so narrow, you're wanting to help people that are currently employed, they have whatever corporate job,
Yeah.
transition so they're able to live in with whether it's their hobby, whatever is their passion, right? It's a very specific,
Yeah, they
right?
are in
You're
pain.
not saying,
Yeah, they want to have this freedom and do their own thing and enjoy their life. And even though they work long hours, they do what they're passionate about. Yeah, and not grinding and, okay, I have another 2 hours to go or another business meeting back to back. When can I eat? Yeah, it's just people want to have that freedom. Yeah,
yeah.
even though.
And absolutely, and entrepreneurship is absolutely. And the other thing I would say, as you go this journey, start hanging out. And I know this is overused, with like-minded individuals, right? Because once, even in your transition, you want to start looking for people that they're in the entrepreneur world. Because when you are in the entrepreneur world and you get that first client, we all remember our first client. I know I still do, right? You
Yeah, me
do.
too.
You
The
remember your first,
feeling.
oh
Oh my
yes, I'm going to give
God.
you money. Right? When you get that and you're so excited, I mean, you cannot, right? It's a different kind of excitement. If you go share that with somebody in your corporate world, they will not understand.
Yeah,
They just won't.
yeah, exactly. Because when I had my first client, I mean, I did not ask for a high ticket price, but I was so fulfilled. I was like flying on clouds. I was like in a totally different world. I was like, oh my God, I'm so fulfilled. I'm exhausted, but so beautifully exhausted.
Yeah.
It's just, there is nothing better in the world than doing something and you know that someone else really appreciates it and they can take away something from it. They have learned
Yeah.
something from it. It's giving them something, helping, empowering them,
Yeah.
I will never forget my first client, definitely. Yeah, it's something
I
beautiful.
know, right? But that's why you want to start hanging out. So that's the other tip, So honestly, I think we need to type this up, and this could be the 1, 2, 3 of starting your business,
Yeah.
because really, because we're giving you the tips. Not only start out there, begin to get the experience, get yourself the foundation, get your branding done, so that you're standing out from the crowd,
Yeah.
right? And as you're beginning to do that, start finding the people, because you're going to start networking, right? You're going to start, and I know time may not be, you may not have a lot of time, but you can make the best of it, right? It's about starting to ask the questions,
Mhm.
right? You're having conversations, you're enrolling people, but it's a finding those people that are going to help you, like-minded, because they're doing something similar. Like you, right? Like, I know what you mean when you first got your first client. It, again, the amount, it doesn't matter at the beginning, because it's a high, because you're flying. You know what I mean? You're really, really are.
Yeah, and
And we want to be able to, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
celebrate that with people.
Yeah,
No, we want to
exactly.
celebrate that.
It's about
Yeah.
celebrating because we know there's other people that are feeling with you. It's like
Yeah.
lifting each other up. It's you want to be in a community that understands and appreciates what
Yeah.
you are going through and appreciating with you. Let's say it like that. Yeah. There you mentioned it's about branding. So you get your branding early on. And I would like to talk a little bit with you about the myths of branding. There's a lot of myths out there. Let's say, oh, branding? Oh, yes, I need a logo. That's it. So it's not just a logo, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, no, no. But see, it's what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know, right?
Yeah.
Listen, initially, yes, and had started a different business, and the other business was cookies. I'm a phenomenal baker, and initially, my first logo. You do need a logo, but logo is one piece of the puzzle. Think of branding as a puzzle,
Mhm.
right? And a logo is, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. So I traded delicious cookies for a logo initially.
Oh, no.
Um,
How many
right,
cookies
but
did you have to trade?
that was just part of it. But right, and that's been put aside. But branding is one of the pieces, right? There's so many things that come in, and when you're working with somebody, that's the thing. We don't know what questions to ask. That's why you need to work with somebody that does that, because they'll know what questions to ask you,
Mhm.
right? And it's a lot of different questions,
Yeah.
right? It's about, you know, who do you want to attract, right? Because let's say, and I'm just going to go in the color scheme. Let's say even colors are important,
Very.
right? If that's another piece, just say that you're going out for men and women, right? You're going to use a different color palette, color scheme for a man if you wanted to attract clients that are men, or versus women,
Mhm.
right? So there's so many more questions that people just, again, we don't know what we don't know when we first get started. That's why setting the foundation is so important.
Yeah, yeah. Colors. I mean, it's really about whom you want to attract, in what industry you are, in what category you are. And then it also has something to do with you because you want to also feel comfortable and own it. Yeah, so I chose red and orange because it means something to me. There's a lot of stories in it. And it also has to have with someone who's starting his or her own business. What are the right branding colors for me? Yeah. Yeah. It is-
And that was a $10,000 tip, right? Because it's, yes, it's about the logo, it's the color scheme, but it's also about bringing your personality. It's about when you see your colors, or when you see your graphics, or when you see your logo, it says something to you.
Mhm.
Not only does it say something about you, but it's something that you can reflect, right? It's a two-way street. It says something to others, but it says something to you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So you're part of. You're
Yeah.
not, this is my brand and this is me. No, right? It's all in. It's about collecting those pieces of the puzzle, right? And that's what's going to help you stand out. We talked about the 100 people that do the same thing, right? And four of them went out and got the branding, so that brings you five people in one crowd. Well, those five people are good. You'll be able to, it's easier to stand out in five than it is to stand out in 100.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Yeah, and this logo, for example, as a brand element, it's really visualizing who you
Yeah.
are. Yeah, but I think this is really one part of it. And then a brand really is something that needs to mean something to someone else. It's what do they think of you? It's not what they just talk about you, but it's also what they think and what they feel about you when you're not in the room. Yeah, it's the whole experience they have with you as a brand. I think that makes the brand. And for me, starting branding is having a vision and a why. Why am I doing what I am doing? And that starts the whole process going forward. And then a little bit further down the road, you think about the colors, you think about your logo, you think about your name. Yeah, are you
Yeah.
going with the founder's name? Are you going with a descriptive name? What's going to be your name? This is also a tough exercise to go through until you finally have your name. So there's a lot of things involved as well, right?
And you said a huge, huge key, the why.
Mm.
And we're going to give you a tip. The why is one personal, but also the why cannot be because I don't like my job,
No,
right?
it has.
And that's key.
Yeah.
That's key, right? Because if you're, and we're just gonna, be totally, we're gonna save you a lot of time. If you're thinking, I want to get into business because I don't like my job, that's not a good reason to go into.
Not a, and yeah, it's very short-sighted. Yeah, there needs to
Yeah,
be something above just making
yeah,
profits. There needs to
yeah,
be a purpose, a higher purpose of serving.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we just save you tons of time, right? Tons of time,
Yes.
tons of money.
I think we should do that more often. Yeah, coming in with a live session like every other week. Hello. Any questions on branding,
What,
please?
once a month? I think we
Yeah,
should do this
once a
once a
month.
month, right?
Yeah,
I think we
let's
we
think
could be
about it.
just Absolutely. But no,
And
because, it learned, right? Learn from the people that you resonate. It is very difficult to take direction from somebody that you don't like.
yeah,
Trust me when I say this, I invested a lot of money in coaches. And some of them, my responsibility, I'm not blaming anybody, but a lot of them I knew I did not resonate with, but I got caught up in the shiny. And so, right, find people that you resonate with, right? Find people that that one, they've done it, then you resonate. Because if you're not, it's not really great for either one of you if you're going to start fighting, right? And, right, it's just, there's plenty of people that do it. So find the right person that's going to help you
yeah,
on your journey.
because you connect with your heart and not with your head. When something is going through your heart and is welcoming, then you remember it. It goes directly, into your head. You just store it. It's somewhere up there in your storage. But if you don't like someone, you will not touch your heart. And you might remember for a short while, but you will forget about it if you remember at all. So that's why this relationship with whoever you want to appeal to, that is so important, because once you connect with your heart, people also connect with your mind, and then you remember things. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
So the audience, whoever is listening, if you want to have a monthly 1 hour ask us anything branding, we think about it.
We make a good team. We want to share what we've learned along the way, right? We really do. That's what we're here, right? It's
Yes.
it's learn and share what we've learned and save you time and money
Mhm. Mhm.
at the end of the day, right? We're saving you time and money, and they're both really, time is so precious.
Yeah. Yet I have one more question to you. What you think about, once we have established ourselves in the market, we are business owners, we have our monthly clients, and then we want to grow our business. So how does branding help us go the next step? Maybe scale. What's your take on that?
Oh my goodness. So, right, and this all began from the beginning, right? Because you're setting the foundation.
Mhm.
Because the branding is going to help you stand for the crowd. One, command a higher fee, but also you become selective, right? You choose. It's like, am I the right person for them? Right? Always come from the place of you're choosing who you help. And, there's no, when you do that, when you become selective and when you choose to work with a very small group, because you are working with a small group of folks, right? Your brand is going to go, because those are high ticket items. Your brand is going to grow faster versus if you're hanging out at, I'm going to say, the $95, right?
Mhm.
Because you're not competing. We don't compete in price. We compete in reputation. We compete in how we stand out, how we show up. Branding is going to help you do that.
Yeah.
It's all tied in.
Yeah.
We want to become, and I happen to like this, we want to become that elite brand where people are seeking us.
Mhm. Yeah. Or so-called category leader, a brand that stands for its category that others refer to. Yeah.
Yes. And the only way you're going to do that is by having that brand, right? Because people recognize. And again, you're building relationships, you're connecting with people. People are going to know.
Mm.
And that's when the referrals come in and the collaborations, referrals and collaborations.
Yeah, yeah, word of
But
mouth.
you can only do that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Powerful stuff.
Powerful stuff. Now let's switch gears a little bit. I would like to put the spotlight on you. I would like to ask you, what are you offering right now? How you help your people? What's your singular thing that makes you the category leader of what you're doing? You are a healer and a life coach. What is on right now?
Oh, good. My goodness. Well, I empower experienced women entrepreneurs to raise their prices. That's what it's about, right? Let me help you charge your value so that you can make more money and have a bigger impact out into the world. I do have a group program for women only. I do work with men one-on-one, but my group, I want to build a community of women where we are networking together, where we helping, and we share our stories so that we know we're not the only ones,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's
You
also
know, it
something that's so important to know we are not the only one out there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's I've been on this mission for a while, and we mentioned, money has something that's made sense to me since I was very, very young. My dad still tells the stories. My nieces and nephews are tired of hearing the stories, but it's about helping more women charge their value, and also the just the inner peace that they're going to get from that.
Mhm, mhm.
Right? Because instead of working with 100 people, now you'll be able to work with 30. You're going to have more peace. You're going to have more time.
Yeah, I
You're going
think,
to have a,
sorry, the inner peace is so important because you're always questioning, did I charge high enough? Or, I mean,
yeah,
I feel not complete. I feel
yeah,
inconsistent with what I'm doing. Yeah,
right.
it's kind of from that.
And that happens, right? And then you approaching burnout because you have way too many clients where you increase the fee. You're going to have less clients, but you're going to make more money.
Yeah, yeah. And you also wrote a book about it, the Money Boot Camp. It's a financial literacy for teens. It's not for women per se, but for teens because you also have another target audience that's the younger crowd.
So my mission is to help. Thank you very much for bringing that up. So my
Yeah.
mission is to help women because I think women are teachers, and we're going to go out and teach. But my other one is to get them to teens, though, to my high school students here in the States, my high school students, get them to start thinking about money differently, right? Setting themselves up for success so they don't end up with credit card debt, so they don't end up taking a job they don't like only because it pays the money they need to keep up with their lifestyle. That's crucial,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Take a job that you love because you know your finances. So I'm definitely passionate about women and my teens. Well, I say teens, but 18 to 25.
Yeah.
That category is just teaching them similar to you what you're doing with your branding. Giving them the basics so that they have a solid financial foundation before they go out into the world and make mistakes. I
Mhm.
want them to make less mistakes
Yeah.
along the way.
And in addition to the book, you also thinking about, or have you already decided to start an app? You're coming up with an
I
app,
am.
right?
We yes. And this is, we're going to talk about coaches. So I have been thinking about this. I've done all my research. I've narrowed it down. And it's all about timing because the new coach that I started working with, I'm going to be totally transparent with you folks here, called me on it because she's like, you need to stop waiting and you need to stop doing the research and you need to do something about it. So, yeah. So sometimes you need those coaches. Yes, the coaches that are going to help you step outside your comfort zone, the coaches that are going to, because that's where we're going to grow. So yes, currently here in public, I am currently working, and I'm giving myself a very short, well, I'm giving myself a very short time frame to make that happen and start testing it out. Just the same thing I said to you at the beginning, right? I said go out and test the market, go out and see. I do plan on doing that very, very quickly. We may need to come back for an update on that.
Oh, yes, definitely. We have to do that next year. How the app is doing. Wonderful. Yeah, Chella, we are almost at the end of our show, but I would like to do some rapid fire terms. I'm throwing some terms at you, and you gonna answer, okay? All right,
No
are you?
pressure, no pressure. Let's do
No
it.
pressure. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Passion.
Ah, passion, you said passion?
Passion.
Passion. Passion is living in your purpose, making an impact out into the world.
Money.
Ah, money is the tool that's going to help you allowed you to live a lifestyle and give back?
Mindset.
Mindset is what's going to help you achieve the previous two. We got to work on that. The mindset is what's either going to help us or is going to get us stuck.
Yeah. Women empowerment.
Women empowerment, it is time. This is our time, women, because when we hold hands together and we help each other grow, it's celebrating each other's wins, right? Be happy for the other person, because if you're successful, they're going to help you get there.
Yeah,
So it is time.
it is time. Yeah. And the last one, brains. What do brains mean to you?
Brands is what's going to help you stand out in the crowd so that people know that's who I need to work with. Not I want to work with, but that's the need. I need to have that. It's truly a way to stand out and attract the clients that you want to work with. Oh,
Yeah, be relevant, right? All right, Chella, where can listeners find you and get in touch with you quickly? Where do they have?
Chella Diaz, yeah, ChellaDiaz.com, or you can, my platform is LinkedIn. I hang out on LinkedIn and ChellaDiaz.com. Very easy. You can find me anywhere.
Okay, it's gonna be in the show notes. Chella, thank you so much for being my guest today on BrandsTalk. It was a true pleasure having you. I hope we're gonna repeat that soon. And yeah, I think there is a lot of wisdom that people can take away from you when it comes to allowing ourselves to charge our value, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.